It's me and a bunch of degenerate friends of mine, and I told him I was going to church, and he didn't even try not to laugh. He just laughed right in my face and just went right along with it. I think I was about 21, 22 years old. I had this gorgeous 86 300ZX. I was meticulous about this car. I'd let it warm up every time before I drove it. It's turbocharged. Synthetic oil every time. So I've got it sitting out in front of my house. I live on the highway. A couple of my buddies drive by in a Silverado, and they rack the pipes off at me. I'm like, all right, well, touche. We're going to see how that goes. Well, they're down the road. I finally go out and get in the car, and I take off and slowly start speeding up on them. I'm going to pass them as soon as I get up there, and I've got it up about 120, 130 mile an hour. I come over a hill, and there they are right in front of me, but there's a green State Police unmarked Crown Victoria Interceptor sitting on the bridge facing me with his lights already on because he's clocked me at this point. And I've got two decisions to make, whether or not I can hit the brakes and slide into the back of this blue Silverado or shift into fourth gear and wave at this lovely gentleman that's wanting me to stop. So naturally, I throw it down into fourth gear and wave at him and just keep on trucking. Well, I'm just going down the road like nothing's happened, 126 or so mile an hour, and cars are parting because I've got my parking lights on. It's probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. It's my day off work. I'm just going to the gas station to get some gas, and it's going to be a lovely trip there, and nobody's going to impede my trip to the gas station. So as I go, it feels like it's about a 30-second journey. I go probably about 5 or 6 miles. Little did I know the gas station I was going to, they had a seatbelt checkpoint set up at. Well, they send another trooper in a marked car up the hill after me, and the last hill I come to crest to go down there, he hops over before I get there and tries to hit me head on. Runs me off into the grass, almost hit a parked Camaro that's sitting there for sale. Get stopped. He gets out, walks over to my car so nonchalant, like you'd walk up to the window at Dairy Queen, ask me for my license and registration. Well, I look at him, I'm like, sir, would you like for me to step out of my car and shut it off? Because I'm surprised he hasn't drugged me out of the car and tased me. So he's like, yeah, it'd probably be a great idea. So I kill it and hop out, and he says, were you wearing your seatbelt? And I'm like, bud, would it have mattered? This is like a Mountain Dew can doing 130 mile an hour. If you hit me, it don't matter. And so he's just standing there talking to me, just normal conversation, it's a normal Saturday afternoon. And then the gentleman that clocked me catches up, seems like an hour later. It's probably a minute and a half. He finally catches up, and he is on fire. He is so angry. And we're sitting in his car, and he's writing me out ticket after ticket. And I look over at him, and I'm like, not trying to get on your bad side here because you're being really polite about this. But how many of these tickets are you writing me? And he looks over and he's like, 4 right now. I'm like, 4 is a good number. 4 is my lucky number. I'll take 4. Good deal. And he goes back afterwards and he's looking at my car and he's like, this car's got a turbo, it's manual transmission. He's like, how fast does it go? I said, well, you've seen it, about 131. He's like, I'd sell it. Oh man, I'm fuming. I'm like, dude, don't tell me to sell my car. I love this car. This car's awesome. So I go on. A couple days later, I go over to my buddy's house. I've just been stewing on this forever. I go over there and I'm telling him, I'm like, man, this guy just caught me, wrote me 4 tickets. I've got to get my respect back. I got to go find him and do a flyby on him and get away this time. So here I am in my garage with a screwdriver trying to turn up the turbo or mess with something, trying to make this car faster, trying to do something to just make it a beast. And it's just a stock 300ZX. Well, I made it to where it would, instead of barking the tires in third gear and launching, it would bark the tires in fourth and roast them in third. But you could cook an egg on the hood after one pass. So I redone whatever I did and turned it back down. Long story short, I don't think I gained any respect back from the ISP. But 15 years later, I get pulled over in a Buick. And I'm going to work. I get stopped by this officer, state trooper. And he asked me, he's like, haven't I pulled you over before? And I look at him and I'm like, well, I think you all have at this point, but I'll listen. And he's like, well, it was a different traffic stop. It was a Nissan. and it was a gold one, and you're doing like 130 up on 46. Yeah, I remember that. Like, that was exciting. He's like, that was one of the most memorable traffic stops of my career. It just blew my mind that I left enough of a mark on this guy that he remembered this all throughout all these years. And he let me off with just a verbal warning that day. But Jared, if you see this, thanks, man. I appreciate it. That was pretty rad. The first time I got a ticket, it was Jeff Nickerson, his dad. I'm driving Mom's car, and she was a dispatcher at the time. And I'm probably doing, it was a 89 Buick LeSabre, 3.8, 4-door, just basic grandma car, mom car. And I've got 3 or 4 of my friends in the car with me. It's a Sunday. And I'm coming around this corner, and the safe speed, it's 55. The safe speed is probably 80 mile an hour. I remember passing a Dodge Neon coming into this corner, and I'm going so fast, the back of this car is starting to walk out, and it's front-wheel drive. I come around this corner, and I see this, this is in 1996, 95, 96. I just gotten my license. It's one of the white Crown Vics, the slanted ones, not before the early 2000s style, and you could see them a mile and a half away with their long headlights. And I lock up the brakes, and this Buick comes around almost sideways in the road at almost 100 mile an hour trying to shut it down. He said he clocked me at 71, but he'll write me, since he knows my mom, he's going to write me at 69 and drop into a different bracket. But when he walked up to the window, he's asking me where the fire's at, where I'm going in such a hurry. And it's me and a bunch of degenerate friends of mine, and I told him I was going to church, and he didn't even try not to laugh. He just laughed right in my face and just went right along with it. But yeah, that was his dad, so his family tree and mine is intertwined in that way, like cops and robbers or cops and speeders, however you want to label it. But I'm sure they got some good stories as well as I do. The Z I had for a little over a year. I got a ticket within 15 minutes of owning it. I bought it. I thought it was, it was turbo and it's 5-speed. It had T-tops. It's everything that the little Magnum PI in me wanted to be. And so I went and picked up one of my friends as soon as I got it from Car Depot. Paid $5,000 for this thing, which was too much, but it was a nice car. It was decent. Went and picked up one of my buddies, and I'm like, hey man, you got to ride in this car. This thing's neat. Had the lumbar, had the leather. I mean, it was a slick car. It was loaded for what it was. It was like the top of the line model. So we're headed out of town. It was a 45 mile an hour zone, headed out of Brazil, Indiana by Dairy Queen, and I'm in third gear running 75 mile an hour and pass a state trooper. And I didn't even attempt to do anything. I just pulled over on the next road and just stopped. Okay, that was my first traffic ticket in that car within 15 minutes of owning it. And I just, man, what do you do? You're red-handed at that point. But yeah, it was some good times in that car.
Successful car purchasing is all about knowing your buying power and being able to move quickly, and the best way to do that is getting pre-qualified with Premier Financial Services. Call one of these numbers, speak to one of their representatives, fill out their application, and then you'll know exactly how much car you can buy. You'll approach a seller, tell them you're already qualified, you've got your simple lease set up from Premier Financial, and you'll be able to close very, very quickly. That's why Premier is one of the most powerful partners in the world of exotic car financing, and that's why I turn to them every time I go out and try to buy something crazy.